Lately, I've been thinking about the podcast and where it's going. I've been really evaluating Best Kandi Ever. Over the next couple of weeks, you're going to be seeing some changes. It's going to be rebranded. I'm going to be relaunching it. A couple of reasons I'm doing this is because, let's start off with the first thing that I'll be changing, which is the name. Before you freak out or get upset or angry, I'm basically changing the name and it's no longer going to be Best Kandi Ever. And that's because, to be quite frank, the show isn't about only the best candies ever that we've received. I mean, in earlier episodes, I think that it definitely was. However, I've listened to past episodes, as I'm editing them, and I'm slowly starting to come to realize that the podcast is no longer about solely candy. This doesn't diminish the fact that I love them and that I love talking about them, talking about like the best candies ever. It's just, I don't think that that's the sole identity of the podcast anymore. And guests and I often venture out into other topics that aren't related to candy, which I think is okay. And I think that a lot of you actually enjoy that. But I will be keeping Best Kandi Ever as a segment of the podcast, kind of like a little continuation of it, because I do think that it really resonates with a part of who I am. And I think that a lot of you actually really like it and it's very relatable. And I don't want to get rid of that because I do truly love the candy aspect. That's one of the things that you'll be seeing a change with. Another thing will definitely be the logo and some of the colors. I might be posting some of that on my story to see what you guys like. I might do a poll, have you guys help me decide what aesthetic parts of the podcast that I'll be putting out and see what you guys enjoy. The other thing too is I really want to step up my game with production of the podcast. One of those things definitely include video quality. I know that for like the past year, ever since I launched it, I've stuck with the same webcam that Timmy gave me a while back when I told him that I wanted to start a podcast. I do know that my video quality is not the best. It's kind of like Skype realness even right now. I know it's okay. It's just okay, Renee. But I am working on getting a new camera, a new video camera. I've been playing with my iPhone too to see what looks good, but I just really want to up my game for you guys and I want it to be as professional as a podcast that I watch. I just really want this to be an upgrade of the podcast or Best Kandi Ever. I'm really working on getting all the right equipment. A lot of you may know I recently moved and we're currently in my studio. This is where I'm going to be recording the majority of the episodes. One of the things that I am definitely going to change is the formatting and the delivery of the podcast. What I mean by this is, I don't know if you guys saw the last episode of Best Kandi Ever with Skudda, with Justin and Jordan, but I really enjoyed the aspect of having a guest in person with me while recording. That's because the chemistry and the vibes are just so different. I feel like we can just bounce off each other so well, and not just because he's my boyfriend, but I think there is a difference when you're talking to somebody in person versus FaceTime on the phone. And I think it just really creates more of this genuine, authentic dynamic. Not to say that webcamming or not webcamming, but Zooms and other virtual forms of video aren't authentic or genuine, but I do think that there is a different presence when somebody is with you in the room and you can read all their body language and really see their facial expressions. That was one of my goals before moving into the house. I told myself, Renee, you are going to have in-person guest podcasts. I think that having in-person guests are just going to up the game. I'm going to be a little selective in terms of who I'll have as a live guest because of course this is in my house. It's in my personal residence. And, for safety, I don't want to just open the floodgates to whoever. I hope you guys can understand that. But like in the future, I would love to have some type of office where I can have whoever there without having to, reveal exactly where I live. That was one of my goals from the get-go, was to have in-person guests. To me, it's just even more fun. I mean, I had fun doing these virtual Zoom call podcast episodes, but in person, I think is just going to be so different. I think that you guys will really like that. Overall, this is just going to be a step up. It's going to be this brand new polished version of Best Kandi Ever, but with different things, different names, different aesthetic, different equipment, better quality. And I just really want to create the best podcast show that I can for you guys. And although this is technically the last episode of Best Kandi Ever. It's not the last podcast episode, and Best Kandi Ever is technically still going to be here, but as a segment, not the sole priority of the podcast. I just want to thank everybody who's been here. This has just been so wild, and I'm continuing to learn, and Best Kandi Ever turned 1 on September 7th. This is just going to be a rebirth of this podcast show. You guys will be seeing some changes with the Instagram page for Best Kandi Ever, the Twitter page, YouTube, all of these things. It will show up different eventually on Spotify and all streaming platforms, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. I just wanted to put this video out because I want to let you guys know, and I don't want to just start making all these random changes without telling you guys, seeing a completely different name pop up on your Instagram or your YouTube feed. I hope that you guys understand this is only to better the podcast show, your guys' experience. And I really, really hope that you guys love that. I just want to thank everybody who has been here for Best Kandi Ever from start till now. Anyone that's been a guest, anyone that has left me a rating review, like this video, subscribe, all these different things. I just want to thank you guys for all of that. This is only to better the podcast and to better your guys' experience. I just love you guys so much. I want to thank you guys for all your support. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed and supported Meetup Spot Network. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, let me know if you agree or disagree, what things you'd like to see me change or keep, do, and I'll see you soon, Kandi fam.